Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today we are in downtown Los Angeles, and we're at the WEConnect LA event put on by Jess and James. And let me tell you, amazing speakers, amazing event. You definitely got to check out their next event that's coming up. And my next guest, he's going to be going on stage soon, Leo Robles. Leo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right, so I finally got you on the show. I know we've crossed paths at other events and other things, man. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, man. Excited to be here with you, man. Yeah.
So I want to get into your work, of course, and what you're doing at EXP, and also I know you're going to be speaking as well coming up, so I want to get a little flavor of what you're going to be talking about. But before we get into all that, I need the WEConnect LA story. How did you get connected with the organization? What's your involvement? How did you get here?
So I heard James speak at another event. Jessica has been a good friend for many, many years, and actually my sister-in-law is on her sales team, right? So we're all connected to our company. So Jessica and I have collaborated in a whole bunch of different projects. So she's amazing, and also shout out to her, right, for putting this amazing event together.
It's not easy, man.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah. So that's how I got connected with them, and just eager to share. I'm super passionate about real estate, right? I've been doing this for 21 years, and most recently. Super obsessed with artificial intelligence. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today on stage, actually.
That's amazing, first off. And I love to see when a community comes together for something like this, especially as this is their inaugural event for this particular brand. I know they've done other brands and things like that, but WEConnect LA, it's a new brand, which is exciting. What do you think makes this so special? Like this grouping of people, this community, like what do you see? Because you've been around the individuals that launched it for a long time now.
Correct. Yeah, so I think that they really care. They're really authentic, right? I think authenticity is the biggest key to success, and that's how we attract the people that we actually want to be in business with. So they're super authentic. They're always coming from a place of contribution. They're specialized as well, right? They know what they're talking about, but they just really care. They really care about people, and I think that the WEConnect, platform that they built, and I think the next event is going to be in August. I think she mentioned, right? I just think it's bringing other people that also have the same mission, vision, that also want to contribute and share. And I think every organization, it really comes down to the people that are involved, right? So the people that are here, they truly care. They're mission driven, and I'm grateful to be here on this lineup.
It's wonderful. You mentioned you're going to be speaking later, and you've been obsessed with AI, man. Talk to me. Where'd that come from? Like, get into it.
So I've been huge on like Tony Robbins. I've been on, just personal development throughout my entire life. And one of the things that I've learned is pattern recognition. And pattern recognition is a huge thing. So I got into the business because the pattern that I recognized was there was a lot of successful people in real estate, right? They wore suits, they had cars, and they had houses, and that's what I wanted. When I actually recognized that initial pattern, I was like 16 and a half.
Yeah.
So I was like,
wow,
okay,
you're
cool.
young when you saw it. You're like, oh, okay.
Because I was praying every single day. I'm like, God, please tell me what I can do to my, to
make
change my life.
Live,
make money, man. Because
just
like everyone, I come from very humble beginnings, and I just didn't have everything I wanted, and there was a lot of stuff that I wanted that I couldn't afford, or family couldn't afford. So I'm like, all right, I got to get us out of this, and I took responsibility for that. So when I met this guy, car, house, suit, I'm like, ding, 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 pattern. What do you do? Oh, real estate. Or like that's what I'm going to do with my life.
Wow.
So that's how I got involved in real estate.
And was this California?
California, man, here in Rancho Cucamonga.
What a great place to be to have that pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were where I was at in Michigan, like I was, I flipped some properties, but the dollar amounts pay my rent. Like it's just different.
Yep.
It's different.
Price points were definitely different back then too, right? They were much lower, but
they've
I can
always
only
been.
imagine.
It's always been California versus. It's just different markets. Yeah.
I think
not
it's the
saying
epicenter.
people over there don't make money, but I mean, like, what to be here and to have that pattern recognition.
You're right.
So much opportunity. It's different. There's a zero. There's a zero.
I think it's the epicenter of real estate for sure. Right. So I mean, I just recognized him, and he told me about real estate. But the thing that really changed my life, which he spent like a couple of minutes with me, he said, "Hey, you got to invest in your mindset."
Wow.
That's all he said.
Really?
And that was the first time I heard.
How old were you roughly?
16 and a half.
Oh, that was then. Oh, wow.
16 and a half. So he said, you got to invest in your
mindset.
mindset.
What a blessing that you got to hear that like that young. That's
right
amazing.
Away.
Yeah.
And I was so naive, bro, that I said, well, how do I do that? Or how do I buy it? Where can I get it?
Thank God you asked a question. Most people would just walk away and not ask the question. You were curious.
I was very curious. Yeah. And it was and I was drilling on his sidewalk to I was doing some construction work at his house.
Yeah.
So it was probably the worst job I did because it's supposed to be a 30-minute job and it took me 8 hours. But the guy actually talked to me because he was like, "Oh man, it was very admirable that you just didn't leave," because he had paid me before he left.
Yeah.
And that's how I talked to the guy. But yes, very curious. And I asked him like, "Well, where do I get mindset?" And I was so naive. And he said, "Well, you just got to read." And I said, "Well, what do I got to read?" He said, "Any personal development books." Well, where do I find them? He said, "Go to nightingale.com." So I did that. Went to nightingale.com.
Earl Nightingale.
Yeah, the OG,
Come
bro.
on, baby. Yeah.
That's it.
Uncle Earl.
Yeah. So I went there and I bought, because he told me, just buy anything. It doesn't matter. He's like, you have to make this your lifelong thing that you do this. Okay. So I'm a really good listener, and again, I was inspired by him. So I listened, and I bought the Law of Attraction, and then I bought the Silva Ultra Mind ESP system, and I bought them in CDs, and I had this little kind of like this little CD thing with my headphones. I would fall asleep to them.
That's great.
I think it rewired my mind and I rewired my life because I didn't understand any of it.
Yeah.
But that was the beginning journey of how everything changed for me.
Wow.
And the book that I bought was Unlimited Power, and that book really changed my life because Tony Robbins talks about neuro-linguistic programming. He talks about the fundamental principles of how you could be really successful really early on, which was I was 17 when I bought the book. So when I heard his story at 18 that he made over $1 million, that was
You're like,
an idea that I was like,
that's possible.
It's
Holy
possible.
Smokes. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I think these rooms are so important, right? Because you hear possibility, you hear a new idea. It's like, oh, cool. If that person could do it, I could do it. That's exactly what it is. So I've read almost 300 books now, right? I've been committed to personal development throughout my entire life. So I did landmark education. I did all the Tony Robbins seminars and become a platinum partner. And now fast forward, if I go through the AI stuff, I got involved in it as soon as I got ChatGPT. And again, my pattern recognition was as soon as I used ChatGPT, I said, this is going to change the world. Immediately, I felt like this is going to change the world. And that's one of the things that I'm when I recognize.
So would you argue that's one of the big patterns? So that first pattern you had was pretty straightforward. Like you're like, okay, this is what I do for work.
Correct.
I'm sure you had other ones along the way, but
Yes.
would you say that this one's as significant or in that kind of ballpark as that first pattern?
Yeah.
Because I agree with you, by the way, but it's a big one, right?
Yeah, it's a huge one. Yeah, and another pattern that I recognize was I don't know why, but I just happen to see things that are earlier than most people. I did investments when it wasn't popular.
Yeah.
That was another pattern that I recognized because it was the mortgage meltdown happened. Nothing was selling, and I met a guy that was an investor, and he said, "Hey, I will buy any property you bring me." So my pattern, I'm like, okay, well, if this guy's buying investments, I gotta find investments. So we didn't have ChatGPT back then, but we had Google. So I went on Google and I said, "Well, how do I find investments?" And boom, popped up. It said Property Radar, which is now called Foreclosure Radar, with this platform. And I downloaded it and I got the free subscription, and then I identified that there was a whole bunch of properties there, and I was like, oh, cool. This is. And unfortunately, I also had lost a home, car, and I went through my whole struggle really, really early on. So I said, oh, this is what happened to my house. This is where they were auctioning them off. This is how I figured it out. So then I went to the courthouse steps, and then I saw there was 6 people under a tree, auctioning a property. They were getting them a penny over. There was not many people. And learned that process. Went back to the investor, and I said, hey, I think I found a way to get these properties. I brought him in the next day, and he observed everything for about 2 hours, and he's like, all right, cool. I'm bringing my money tomorrow. He brought close to $3 million in cashier's checks, and I went from never listing a house to us having 40 properties in the next 40 days. It was we're buying a property a day, every single day.
Yeah.
It completely changed my life. And so that was a little mini pattern, right? And I just listen. I'm very curious, man. I just listen. I ask questions, you mentioned earlier. So I just go with it, and I just take that as okay, this is a sign I got to pay attention to this, and that's how AI happened to me. Is okay, I got to pay attention to this because it's going to be a game changer. And sure enough, it has. Look at the world, the way it's evolved now.
Yeah. But where do you see some of the opportunity with it? Given your skill set, where do you see, or not even just in real estate, just me in general, where do you see? What do you see?
100 million jobs are going to be disrupted by AI.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be massive job displacement. Any human alive right now needs to reevaluate and reinvent everything they do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's life is going to change. Everybody's going to be impacted by it, not just real estate, every single person. Meta laid off 80% of their staff. I mean, Amazon's doing it. You see the writing on the wall.
Yep.
So I don't think people should panic or be afraid. But most of the time, unfortunately, we humans are very uncomfortable with change. Mm-hmm. So I would tell people to really embrace change and figure out how to utilize it for their business. So I had a conversation with my niece. She was having a challenge finding a job. And I looked at her resume, and 80% of her job could be done by AI.
Wow.
So I told her, I was like, well, let's use AI to use your superpowers to build a business. So I fed it to ChatGPT, and I said, hey, based on her skill set, what kind of business can she operate? Give us 10 ideas. Gave us 10 business ideas, and one of them stood out. I was like, oh, cool. This is really great.
Yeah.
So you like that one? Yeah, I like that one. Okay, perfect. Then I asked the next question. Let's build a business plan. Boom. Business plan is done. Next thing, let's get a mission vision statement. Perfect. All right, well, what do I charge? Give me a pricing sheet guide. Oh, how do I pitch it? Give me a pitching deck. So literally within about 2 hours of me sitting there with her, we had an entire business done. So everybody should be thinking about how can you use your superpower and ask it. Go to ChatGPT, go to Grok, go to Perplexity, go to Gemini. It doesn't matter which one, by the way. I think all of them are great. And then ask it, based on my superpowers, what kind of business can I operate and how can I position myself to capitalize in the next 10 years?
Yeah.
So I think that with AI, the only limitation is the questions that we ask. We have to be willing and dare to ask. And it was really uncomfortable for me in the beginning utilizing AI. I almost felt like I was cheating in a way because I would ask it a question and it immediately responded. And again, I'm very inquisitive and very curious. Most people, I know I can ask them a couple questions, but after like 3 or 4, they're like, dude, you already asked me a whole bunch of questions.
Chill.
Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
AI, man, it doesn't run out.
Yeah.
I was asking question after question after question. I'm like, wait, can I ask this question? I'm like, that's it. So you have to be willing to ask.
Yeah.
Willing to ask the question. And I think that's the only limitation that somebody has right now. How they can position themselves to win is you got to be curious. You got to be open-minded. You have to be creative as well.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be technical, which is the most exciting thing too. I'm not a technical person. I'm not a developer. I'm not somebody that's a software engineer. But I've developed apps now. I've developed other business. I'm a chief tech officer for a mortgage company. I'm also I'm a partner on a chief growth officer for an SEO company. I'm launching other apps in the real estate business, and I'm just deploying stuff. And one of the greatest examples that we have right now, there's a guy named Peter Steinberg. I don't know if you know the name. Peter Steinberg launched a company called Moltbot. Or Claudebot. It used to be called Claudebot. Yeah. And then Claude, which is another AI company, sent him a cease and desist and said, oh, no, you need to change the name. So he changed it to Moltbot.
Yeah.
And then he changed it again because it was a whole bunch of scammers that were using that one. And then he renamed it to OpenClaw. And OpenClaw was now, just like a couple of days ago, acquired by OpenAI. And this guy, basically, this was his like 43rd project. And now, I mean, I'm sure his previous company has sold it for $100 million. I'm pretty sure he probably made $1 billion just by getting. Nobody knows the number, but I'm sure.
Sure, he did it big.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
and that's going to change the game, by the way, because this platform, the uniqueness of it is that it's an autonomous artificial intelligence platform that can do it. It's like an assistant that could work 24/7 for you. So it could write your newsletters. It can post your social media. It could respond to messages. It could do anything.
Yeah.
It's an intern that you could train.
Yeah.
And it runs. I communicate with my bot through Telegram. I just text it like an assistant.
That's amazing. I love it. Leo, this has been great having you on, man.
Thank
I
you,
love
bro.
it. Yeah, I'm inspired. I'm fired up to even do more with AI. We use it a lot in my company, and I love it. And we're always tinkering. Well, I'm tinkering, I should say. My team, they're good. They're good at what they do. But you got me fired up for me to tinker some more personally. But
bro, yes.
Next thing I want you to do, or last thing, I want you to look at the camera. How do people follow up? How do they follow you, your team, in real estate and otherwise? Like, how do people connect with your journey?
Thank you for the opportunity. So connecting with me is really simple. I'm on every platform.
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm on every single one because that's why I coach people. Be on every platform. I have a blog. So I am Leo Robles is my handle. I'm my most where I live, basically on what platform I live on Instagram. By the way, I've got like almost 14 million views on Instagram in the last 30 days. Organic. I mean, think about how much it's insane what we could do right now. So that's how you can connect with me on Instagram. It would probably be the easiest way. I would love to. I have a passion to serve people, and I share a whole bunch of nuggets on utilizing AI and also real estate. That's what I share about.
Amazing. For everybody listening at home, just so you know, we'll put some links in the show notes so that you can just click on them, head right on over and connect with Leo. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters, just so you know, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show, each and every day. You heard me right. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And Leo, man, I'm glad I could finally get you on.
Brother.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I love it.